Okay, good day everyone. So, welcome to our first week for the maritime law. So, maritime law most likely more on lecture talaga siya and it is medyo boring kasi ang pag-aaralan natin is more theory at hindi natin malalagyan masyado ng videos, presentations kasi more on words talaga siya na kailangan natin makabisado. And again, as the word law, puro batas and how we regulate this law. So, first, nature and domain, the meaning and subdivisions of law. Our learning objective, first, give the general meaning of law, kung ano yung ibig sabihin, what's the purpose, then enumerate and describe the sources of law in general, kung saan nanggaling yung law na yon, bakit natin na-regulate yung law, paano siya na-form, and the major classifications of laws. Siyempre, each law na pinapatupad natin, meron siyang classifications kung saan siya na babagay. And ano yung difference each law? Bawat classifications, ano yung pagkakaiba nila, kung saan siya ginagamit. And we are going to explain the systems of law. Paano siya nare-regulate each classifications. So let's begin with the quotation of the sea is with its winds, storms, and dangers does not change. It calls for a necessary uniformity of juridical regimes. So, meaning of these quotations is first, the sea is constant in its natural challenges. No? Hindi naman natin mapipredict pagdating sa mga natural disasters or natural uh, changes of weather like storms and does not adapt to human behavior. Hindi katulad sa ating mga tao na we can adjust, mababago natin kung how we act, how we perform, paano tayo mag-respond, but the nature itself, no, unpredictable. So because of this unpredictable and hazardous nature, this is a need of consistent and uniform legal systems. So meaning those legal system is we are referring into the juridical regimes. So yung ating sinasabi na legal system, it is the juridical regimes across all the countries and ships. This ensures the safety and order and cooperation in international waters. So yung key idea natin dito that under unchanging nature of the sea requires uniform maritime laws for seafarers regardless of the nationality. So ang kailangan lang natin is since unpredictable daw yung ating sea and it is a constant natural changes like yung storms and dangers na sinasabi ko, kailangan natin magkaroon ng isang batas in which uniform sa lahat ng antas ng lipunan at kung saan man bansa tayo nandoon. So it is regardless of all the nation and regardless of all the laws. So dapat pare-pareho tayo ng law pagdating sa dagat. So yung law na sinasabi natin dito is it is different from the law na ina-apply natin pagdating sa COLREG. So COLREG, lagi niyong tatandaan, it is collision regulation. That mainly focus on the collision avoidance. Pero pag sinabi nating maritime law, kasama na din dito yung hindi lang yung dagat in which i-consider din natin yung law na nandun sa offshore or nasa shore na kailangan nating gamitin yung batas. At hindi lang siya applicable sa isang certain country, kundi sa lahat ng country na nandun. Then next, sabi natin dito, all societies have sets of rules that are directed by authority and followed by its members. So ang sinasabi naman dyan, this is a general statement about law and governance. So batas at yung nagpapatakbo ng batas. So every organized society functions under system of rules, which is yung batas nga, are created and enforced by the authority like the government and followed by its people. So katulad natin dito sa Pilipinas, meron tayong batas na pinapatupad ng ating gobyerno at tayo naman yung sumusunod sa batas na yon. And followed by its people. So tayo yon. So ganun din pagdating sa dagat. Meron tayong pinapatupad na batas at ang sumusunod doon ay yung mga crew member at yung mga agency or yung mga crewing or shipping na konektado doon sa batas na yon, sa maritime law. So, these laws bring structure, order, and predictability. Since unpredicted yung ocean natin, so kapag dating sa batas na to, mapipredict natin kung ano yung action na dapat natin gawin. So the main idea of this is rules and authority are essential for any organized society to work smoothly. Kasi kung gagawa tayo ng, for example, dito sa isang bansa, magkakaroon tayo ng isang nation, if there's no rules, lahat tayo masusunod. 'Di ba? Kung wala namang batas eh. So, gagawin ko kung ano yung gusto kong gawin. But if there's a certain rule, tapos merong nakapatong na parusa doon sa batas na sa isang batas na nilabag mo, tendency susunod ka. So, kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng rules para lahat ng tao is susunod sa batas na yon. Kasi if there's no rules and there's no fine with that rule, lahat ng tao, lahat ng gusto nilang gawin, or lahat tayong tao, or sa dagat, lahat ng involved doon, kung hindi naman magkakaroon ng rules, bakit pa natin, kung wala namang rules, edi gagawin natin kung ano yung gusto natin gawin. So, since there's a rule and there's fine, if the rule na ginawa ay hindi mo sinuunod, so magkakaroon ng fine pagdating sa'yo. So, to combine this interpretation, both quotes highlight the importance of law and order. So, in the natural world, ibig sabihin dyan, yung sea, and the human communities, which is the society, the first emphasized need of the international maritime law due to the universal nature of the sea. Then, while the second underlines that the law is fundamental to all social structures. So, in maritime context, pag sinalin natin sa maritime context, where ships and crews from different countries are interact, syempre, di ba, sabi ko nga, pagdating sa barko, magkakaibang nationalities. So, uniform legal system. Kahit nasabihin pa natin, you're from the USA, you're from the Europe, and you're just Asians, no? Kasi laging gano'n yung nangyayari, para na-undermine yung pagiging Asians, no? In which kahit na regardless of your nationality, we have a uniform legal system which ensures that everyone knows that is the expected and can cooperate safely and efficiently. Regardless of your nationality, rules is rules. So kahit na you're a European, you're from the Americans, or you're a nation, no one is above the law. And kahit na mas mataas yung came from the first world country and third world country ka lang, ang ipapatong sa na batas is the same as law, na kung ano yung nasa third world at kung ano yung nasa second world country na pinanggalingan mo. So, the same lang ang batas kahit na you're a nation or you're an European. No? So, that is the meaning of these quotations, these two combined interpretation. So, first, the meaning of the law. So, law generally defined as the body of rules decreed by the governing authority of states in order to control the relationship between the state and the member and control the relationship among members themselves for the purpose of establishing peaceful order in the society. Okay, so to simplify, law is a set of rules made and enforced by the government. Sa pinakamadaling salita, it is enforced and made by the government. So these rules are made to manage how the government and people interact. So napapagitna ng government, law, then people. So doon nagkakaroon ng interactions, no? Because these rules are made how to manage, how the government manage the people to interact, and also how people treat each other. So, kasi syempre, for example, no, Ah, Pagdating dito sa lupa, may dala kang sasakyan, tapos nabangga mo yung kabilang sasakyan. So ikaw ngayon na nakabangga, nagagalit ka kasi kahit na ikaw yung nakabangga, yung sasakyan mo yung napuruhan. Tapos yung sasakyan na yon na nabangga mo, hindi siya napuruhan, pero dahil sa pagkakabangga niya sa'yo is nagkaroon siya ng ano, ng fracture. Sabihin na natin sa head fracture kasi nga biglang lakas ng bangga. So tendency, kung walang batas na kung sino yung mananagot doon, kung pagbabasihan lang natin kung ano yung nakita natin, both sides is ipipilit nila kung sino yung tama. But with the essence of the rule or the essence of the law, no, we can treat each other the way na kung ano yung nasa batas na dapat nating sundin. Kasi yung batas na yon is, it is not being formed just to go with the sides where the people do you think is right. No? Hindi natin papanigan kasi yung batas na 'to ginawa 'to dahil ito kasi, ito yung gagamitin natin ng batas. Kasi ito yung batas na 'to is para dito sa, kasi kamag-anak ko yung ano, eh, yung nabangga, eh. So ito yung batas na gagamitin natin. No, yung batas na ginawa na yon is, it is made in which kung saan makikita talaga kung sino yung tama sa nangyaring banggaan. So meaning, yung law na yon is hindi siya biased. No, all the law na binibigay is pinag-aaralan both sides kung sino talaga yung lalabas na tama. So, ikaw na tao na alam mo tuloy kung paano ka magre-react, baka mamaya galit ka ng galit, ikaw naman pala yung mali. 'Di ba? So now, with the use of law, alam mo ngayon kung dapat ka bang magalit or hindi sa nangyaring aksidente. So, the main goal of this law is to keep peace and order in the society. So, syempre, sabi ko nga, kapag wala namang law, lahat tayo tama sa paningin natin. Lalong-lalo na kapag feeling natin na grabyado tayo. No? Ipipilit natin talaga na tayong tama. So, para mas maintindihan nyo palalo, no? Pag sinabi nating body of rules, meaning system of written or unwritten law. So, ayun yung tinatawag natin body of rules. Pag sinabi naman natin decreed by a governing authority means the government creates and approves this law. No, decreed by a governing authority means the government creates and approves this law. Ginawa ng government at naaprubahan yung batas na to. Then, to control the relationship means law guide how people act towards the government and towards one another. No? To control the relationship. And peaceful order in the society means it helps to avoid chaos, arguments, or violence. Bago pa mag-lead doon sa misunderstandings na yung iba ay natutuloy pa sa patayan. So that is the key points that you need to remember, no? Pagdating sa meaning of law. So there are two main categories sets within the law. So meron tayong first substantive that refers to the body of rules that determine the rights and obligations of individuals and collective bodies. While procedural that refers to the body of rules that govern the process of determining the rights and obligations of parties. So ano nga ba yung difference between the two main categories sets within a law? Okay, so to simplify the explanation, this is about first one with the substantive law. No, this is about what your rights and duties are. Ito yung karapatan mo at ito yung responsibility mo. So it tells you what is allowed and what is not. Sinasabi sa'yo kung ano yung pwede at ano yung hindi pwede. For example, the law says stealing is a crime. Yung sinasabi sa batas na yung pagnanakaw ay crime. No? So that is a substantive law because it defines that you can or you cannot do. No, that is substantive law, tells about your rights and duties, tells you what is allowed and what is not. Then the procedural law, it is about how the legal process works. So it tells you that the steps to follow when someone breaks the law or when someone wants to protect their rights. So para mas madali, no, for example, if someone is caught stealing, no, kapag meron kayong nakita or merong isang tao na nahuli na nagnanakaw, procedural law tells the court how to handle the case. So yung procedural law daw, sinasabi sa court how to handle the case ng pagnanakaw. So it's like how to file a case, present evidence, and give a decision. Hindi yung basta ikukulong na lang without any procedural, without any procedure. Ikulong niyo yan kasi nagnakaw. So, hindi pwede. Dapat mag-file ka muna ng case. Sa pagpa-file mo ng case, ilagay mo doon your evidence. Bakit mo siya nasabing nagnakaw siya? And give the verdict or yung decision. Bakit siya dapat ikulong? Okay? So, para mas matandaan natin palalo, easy step for you to understand the substantive, what the law is about. And the procedural, how the law is applied. Tandaan nyo lang, una lagi, substantive. What the law is about, para saan yung batas na yon. Then procedural, how the law is applied. Paano ina-apply yung batas na yon. So that is the two main categories of or set of within a law. So next tayo. So the sources of law in general. So first we have the written or the statute law. So it has its origin in lawmaking enactments. The next one is the unwritten or common law. So it has the origin in customs expressing legal rights which have been transmitted into positive law by decisions of courts of justice. So again, i-ano ulit natin, no? I-elaborate natin para mas malinaw. So the written law, which is the statute law, this type of law comes from the official laws made by the lawmaker. Gawa ng mga ating mga mambabatas, yung mga abogado. So like the Congress or the Parliament, these laws are written down in a legal documents or book. So meron kang evidence, no? Kasi naka-written siya eh. Kumbaga meron kayong black and white paper na sinusundan. In which, for example, Republic Act of the Philippines are written in the laws. Lahat ng batas na pinapasunod dito sa Pilipinas is meron tayong naka-written siya, naka-documented siya. While the unwritten law, which is the common law, that this kind of law is not written down like a regular law, but it comes from traditions, customs, and past of the court decisions. Over the time, judges' decisions become a guide for the future cases. Just for example, if a court always decides a certain way about a situation, that becomes a legal rule if it is not written in the law book. So, magde-decide lang right away without any written or black and white paper na sinusundan. So, it is the decisions become guide for a future cases. So, quick reminder lang para hindi kayo madali lang naman, no? Kasi pag sinabi nating written, it is documented. Pag unwritten, it is just verbal. So, quick students reminder lang para sa inyo, no? Written law made by a lawmaker and it is officially written. Pag sinabi naman natin unwritten law based on customs and past court decisions. Nangyayari na sa mga batas or hearing and inuulit lang. Kaya hindi na kailangang i-document. So that is the difference between the written law and unwritten law. So next natin. So classifications of the law. So first we have the municipal law, which regulates the relations within a country. Then we have the international law, regulates relations between countries and international organizations. So ano ba yung pagkakaiba nitong dalawa? So first, for the municipal law, it embodies law in a country primarily governing the relationship among individuals and government and the relationship among individual themselves, like for example, Civil Code of the Philippines governs family and property of relations. So meaning, kapag sinabi nating municipal law, so it is a type of law that applies within a country that governs how people interact with each other and how they interact with the government. These laws are affect our daily lives. Bakit? For example, the Civil Code of the Philippines is a municipal law which includes the rules about marriage, family, property, and some other contracts and other relationships between the people. So yung main idea dito is the municipal law is equals to the local or national law. So it helps manage citizen to citizen or citizen to government relationship. So para magkaroon tayo ng sinusunod na batas in which it is a affected pagdating sa ating daily lives, like for example yung marriage, family and property and other contracts na related sa ating buhay araw-araw. While naman pagdating sa ating dating naman natin sa ating division of municipal law. So since meron tayong tinatawag na private law, speaks about the rules concerning the rights and duties between individuals or groups of individuals. For example, the party or individual or group of individuals are companies. No, yung may mga private companies in which it is not being regulated of the government. For example, uh, yung mga schools, meron tayong mga government school, then meron din tayong private schools. For example, yung Celta College, it is a companies in which it is a private school, no? And meron din tayong Gordon College which is a regulated by the government. So, pagdating daw sa private law, it is speak about the rules concerning the rights and duties between the individuals of groups or the groups of individual. Then, meron naman tayong tinatawag daw na subdivision of the private law. For example, di ba, pag minsan sinasabi na bumabagyo tapos minsan nagde-decide yung ating government na public and private wala nang pasok. Kasi sa tingin nila, dahil bumabagyo, sa tingin nila, hindi na talaga sila yung kailangan mag-decide at hindi na talaga kaya ng mga estudyante na pumasok dahil pagdating sa natural disaster. But pagdating doon sa sides in which they think na the decision is not that hard to decide, parang kaya din naman i-decide ng mga private sector like private schools kung magkakaroon ng walang pasok. Makikita nyo no na pagdating sa dulo, pagdating sa private school, it depends upon the discretion of the private institution. So meaning, yung decisions is may iwan na doon sa private institution kasi hindi pa siya ganun ka lala. No, pagdating sa mga walang pasok. Kaya mapapansin nyo, yung decisions is not being solely nandoon lagi sa government natin. No, magminsan hinihintay din nila kung ano yung magiging decision ng private school, no? But they are encouraged, for example, they are encouraged din kung ano yung naging decision nila. Pwede rin naman sumunod daw yung mga private sector. But then again, the decision still lies on the private sector. So, yun yung mga, for example, na law na sinusunod natin. And sa mga private law, meron tayong subdivision of law. So, meron tayong law of contract. It is an accord between the two parties that law recognizes must have a essential features such as the consideration, form, agreement, itself, intention of create legal relation, definite time, and legality. And this law of contract, nakasaad yun, dito nakasaad yung ating contract of marriage or yung ating marriage contract. So, nagkakaroon lang siya ng legality, relation, and the definite time kasi meron kayong kontrata. At dahil sa kontrata na yun, kailangan nyo sundin. Nawawalang bisa lang yung kontrata, for example, yung marriage, kapag nagkaroon na ng legal separation. No, dadaan na tayo sa legal process para magkaroon ng separation. So, but then again, that is the subdivision of private law. No, doon na papasok yung ating law of contract pagdating sa ating example ng marriage contract. So meron din tayong law of torts, a body of rights, obligations, and remedies that is applied by the courts in the civil proceedings to provide reliefs person who have suffered from harm or wrongful acts of other. So the torts, it is a French word meaning wrong. So for example, bouncing of checks law. Yung mga nagbibigay na bounce check, no? So mga wrongdoings, kunyari mo babayaran ka, merong utang sa'yo ng 500,000. Tapos inisyuhan ka ng cheque, pero yung cheque na yon nag-bounce. Ibig sabihin, wala naman laman yung bank account mo, pero nagbigay ka ng cheque. So, meron ka ngang may checkbook ka, pero wala naman laman yung, wala ka naman pera doon sa bangko na pinag-issuehan mo ng cheque. So, pwede mo rin siyang kasuhan. So, you can use that form of law of torts. No? It is a body of rights, obligation, and remedies that applies for the court proceeding to relief for the person who is suffered from a harm or wrongful acts of others. So, ayun yung example natin dyan. Then, meron din tayong law of personal property. So, it is a law that covers everything that is the subject of ownership, does not come for the denomination real property of any right of interest that is individual has a movable things. Just for example, yung ating patent law. So, ano nga ba yung patent law na tinatawag natin dito? So, the patent law, so it deals with the things that you can own that are not land or buildings. So these are called movable properties. Things that you can carry or use or transfer. So it also includes the rights or interests of a person that may have over those things. For example, ng patent law natin is a part of personal property law because it protects inventions which are not land or buildings but something you can own and control. So real property, land or anything attached to it like a house, no? And for example, personal property, everything else you can own like laptop, car, or patent. So, ibig sabihin daw, yung patent law natin, pwede nating gamitin dyan. For example, ninakaw yung cellphone nyo or yung laptop nyo or yung sasakyan nyo, you can call it as a personal property and it is lies undergo the patent law, which is law of personal property. So, ayun po yung patent law natin. Next. So, natapos na tayo sa ating private law. Then, meron naman tayong public law. So, sa public law naman, it refers to the laws governing the exercises of power by public authorities, which includes the legal relations between the state and the individuals or involves the relationship between private citizens or organization and the government protecting the common interest. So, in this part, the law that deals with the government uses its power. So, alam naman natin the highest form of the power dito is yung government in which how they interact with people or organizations, it focuses on protecting the common goods or public interest. So, this kind of law explains that the government can and cannot do and how the citizens must follow laws and by the government. So, for example, the government creates a rule about paying taxes and someone refuses to follow, it is a public law is involved. So, key points natin na kailangan tandaan is the covers government versus people relationship and it includes law about taxation, public safety, and the constitutional rights. And goal, it is protects society as a whole. So, tapos nating first half, wait natin yung second half. No? Pwede muna tayo mag-break.